What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Insight. Islam Makhachev's head coach just dropped a massive update on the Ilia Topuria Superfight, confirming that yes, it will happen eventually. He called it a truly monstrous matchup, pointing out that Topuria would be chasing an unprecedented third world title, while Islam is right in the absolute peak of his prime. According to him, that collision is inevitable, and when it finally goes down, it'll be one of the biggest fights the sport has ever seen. Meanwhile, Islam showed nothing but class toward Della Maddalena. After their fight, he reminded everyone that Jack is only 28, an age where most fighters are just entering their elite years. Islam fully believes Jack will tighten up the wrestling defense, keep sharpening that world-class striking, and work his way straight back into title contention. Then Paddy Pimblett chimed in with his first reaction to Islam at welterweight. Paddy said that the moment he saw them standing side by side, Islam didn't look like a lightweight moving up at all. He expected Jack to be the noticeably bigger man, but instead he felt Islam had the size, the strength, and the physical presence to completely nullify Jack's game. According to Paddy, once he saw that, he knew Islam would be able to grapple him without any issues. Alright, let's take a look at what Javier Mendez had to say.
As a fighter, you got to try to mark up the fights and get everybody involved, and he does a great job of doing that, you know. So let's see what happens, you know. If the UFC offers him, then no problem. I mean, I can't answer for Islam, but I'm saying no problem. Islam and his, Ali, who I consider the greatest manager in the business, will do the right thing for Islam. So, but let's face it, we're going to meet him eventually, whether it's the White House or whether it's another time. Let the UFC decide that, I say. But we're going to meet him eventually if he wants to continue to come up. But I seriously doubt Islam will want to come down. And for him, it's the first time anybody will ever go for a triple.
Just days after UFC 322, Paddy Pimblett revealed his next fight date, and he made it crystal clear he's not waiting around for Ilia Topuria forever. Paddy is targeting early 2026, most likely on one of the first Paramount cards, and says he's ready to fight anyone in front of him. Topuria, Gaethje, whoever. He's done sitting on the sideline. Following the event, UFC President Dana White confirmed that Islam Makhachev's win officially launched him into the #1 pound-for-pound spot. Double champ, dominant resume, now the top guy in the entire sport. Topuria's camp still insists the super fight with Islam is destiny, but welterweight is so stacked that the timeline might get pushed back. Between Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Machado Gary, and Kamaru Usman, there are too many contenders waiting at the door. Paddy didn't hide his frustration on his YouTube channel either. He blamed Makhachev for muddying the lightweight division, saying nobody knows what's happening until Islam makes his next move. And with top contenders like Carlos Paredes and Michael Morales picking up huge wins this weekend, the 170-pound division is more crowded than ever. Right now, the most likely scenario is that Islam Makhachev defends his welterweight title against Kamaru Usman first, something that was quietly revealed by his manager, Ali Abdelaziz. Alright, let's hear from Paddy.
So all for me is just like, let's see what's happening now with Islam, because is Ilia gonna stick to his word and say he's gonna move up, or is he gonna stick to his other word and say he's gonna fight me next? We don't know what's happening, do we? You never know. Could end up fighting Ilia, could end up finally fighting Justin Gage. I thought it was going to be in Abu Dhabi, but no one knows what's happening, do they, until Islam decides what he's doing, because I know Ilia's saying he wants to fight him, but I'll be fighting early next year, no matter who it is. I'll have an opponent. I'll definitely be fighting early next year, so Islam looks different, that's weird. Just looks different. So takedown straight away. That looked easy for Islam, that takedown. Like, as soon as I seen him in the cage next to each other and seeing the size, I was like, yeah, Islam will be able to grapple him. I thought that Jack might be a bit too big for him, but he doesn't look like a lightweight fighting a welterweight, does it?
And pundits were curious to see how Islam Makhachev would look in his welterweight debut. Some believed he was always too big for lightweight, insisting 170 was his true home. Others thought he'd finally be undersized and outmuscled when he stepped into the octagon against Della Maddalena. But Islam shut all of that down instantly. He didn't look smaller than Jack at all. In fact, he looked stronger, fuller, and more powerful than we've ever seen him. He took Jack down effortlessly, controlled him like it was routine, and showed a level level of strength the Aussie had never faced before. Jack had previously stuffed takedowns from natural welterweights, but Islam was operating on a completely different level, blending technique and raw strength to dominate the fight from start to finish. That performance only added fuel to the long-running narrative that Islam had been too big for lightweight, a weight bully as some critics labeled him. Even Joe Rogan backed that idea on his podcast, calling Islam's brutal weight cuts silly and arguing he was never truly a 155-pound fighter. Now, after claiming welterweight gold, Islam was asked directly about Rogan's old comments regarding his size at lightweight. First, here's Rogan's take.
Islam Makhachev is huge. I mean, that guy, how he makes 155 is, I don't understand it. Every time I stand next to him, I'm like, how are you 155? He's got to be 190-ish, in the 190 range. He's got to be. That's what he looks like to me. He's thick and big. I mean, he's not a small, he's not a 155-pound man. It's just so silly. The whole thing is just, it's an old thing that we kept for no reason. And I feel like they should blow all the weight classes. I've talked to Dana about this. I actually talked to Ari Emanuel about this when they first bought the UFC.
Islam responded, explaining why those comments don't make sense. He detailed why he was naturally suited for lightweight during his time at 155, sharing insights into his nutrition and everyday life, showing it was normal and never draining.
Not make sense because all fighters who fight 155 minimum, they have 178, 177. I always try to don't eat like in the nighttime. I don't like the sugar. I don't drink cola like maybe 4 or 5 years. My weight maximum 182, I think. I'm not cut weight. I don't follow like diet. I eat everything. My weight 180.
Magomed Chanko Zaynukov has finally broken his silence on why he went after Dillon Danis at UFC 322 inside Madison Square Garden, and his explanation was as blunt as it gets. According to Chanko, Dillon crossed lines that can't just be forgiven, and he believes Danis needed to be held accountable for the things he said and did leading up to the event. In his words, people have to take responsibility for what comes out of their mouth. The fallout was immediate. Dillon Danis has now been permanently banned from all future UFC events. Meanwhile, Chanko and the other members of Islam Makhachev's team who joined the altercation were escorted out of the arena and forced to watch the remainder of UFC 322 from their hotel rooms, completely removed from the action. But here's the crazy part, Chanko has unintentionally become a star overnight. Social media has turned him into a full-blown meme machine, and the brawl only skyrocketed his popularity. Whether you see him as a hero, a menace, or just pure entertainment, one thing's for sure, Chanko is now a name every MMA fan knows. Let's dive deeper into what he said and what comes next.
Вот здесь царапина. Об зуб, походу, я не знаю, куда. И этим тоже чуть вот здесь попало ему, вот шишка появилась. Ну, реально, это, я считаю, даже это мало. Извиняюсь, что перебил, но это мало для него. За его поступки это мало. Такие вещи не прощаются. За каждое слово ты должен отвечать. У нас такие стереотипы, что ты сказал, ты должен за свои слова ответить, но он... Это для них, видишь, у них, я не знаю, как они живут здесь, что хотят, говорят, могут семью задеть, и для них это ничего, а для нас все, каждое слово, это все для нас святое, и нужно отвечать.
Are you excited for Magomed Chanko's Zaynukov UFC debut in upcoming months? He's been signed by Dana White, and fans are eager to see him compete. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to MMA Analysts and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one from Chris Breeze 8875. People need to stop talking about the Raja situation already. It's f***ing annoying if he hasn't been locked up. Chances are he isn't. The second one from Robert Jones 9275 says, I'm gonna talk about Conor. Glad he's sober and doing something patriotic, hope he wins. And the last one is from Sigmon M3P, says, Conor would have won being president if it was 2016 or 2017, but he's a complete joke now. Those were the top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up. See you in the next video.